Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WhoKnewPodcast. All our episodes are on WhoKnewPodcast.com. You can leave comments there, or email us at WhoKnewPodcast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram and Twitter account. Tweet at us at WhoKnewPodcast, and find us on Facebook. Today's episode is episode 5 of season 4, The Poison Sky. Will the Doctor stop the Sontarans' plan of using our beloved automobiles as weapons to poison all of humanity? This episode is written by Helen Rayner, directed by Douglas McKinnon. It originally aired on the 3rd of May, 2008. It was watched by 5.9 million viewers. Let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, this is Frank.
Kelsey.
This is Arlene.
Hello, this is Auburn.
This is Brian.
Hi, this is Eugene. Poison smoke fills the streets as the Doctor tries to shut off the Atmos devices that trap Wilf in the car. Donna's mother, Sylvia, grabs an axe and breaks the windshield to let him out. Jenkins finds a car without Atmos and drives the Doctor and Donna to the factory. There, cloned Martha signals Stahl that she has the information he needs, so he sends Score to protect her.
Sylvia grabbing the axe is also, that's where Donna gets it.
Yeah.
She just does things. It's like, I like that little bit that Sylvia is the one who saves it.
And don't they say, why do you have an axe? Burglars or something like that.
Yeah, definitely at the end of the last episode, I was waiting for somebody to do the obvious thing and break one of the windows. Like, I know the Sonic doesn't work on wood, but it works on glass, doesn't it? I would think it would.
They're deadlocked.
The windows are deadlocked or just the Atmos?
The whole car is deadlocked.
Oh. I thought
Is it double deadlock?
He says deadlock.
But an axe can go through a deadlock?
Yeah.
It's locked, so you just can't unlock it, but you can break through it.
Well,
Okay.
Auburn wanted the Sonic to send enough sound waves to break glass. Is that what
Well,
you're
I was
Which
just saying,
which you totally normally would.
yeah. Because at the end of the last episode where Wilf is like dying in the car, and also I think because the last episode began with the journalists drowning in a car, like that's one of those things where like break a window, they're made to do that, but then the journalist was probably also deadlocked.
I mean, Stahl specifically says
Yeah.
activate all the cars and deadlock them all.
Okay.
right? But does that mean there's a shield around the car,
Means
or
the Sonic doesn't.
It just means it creates tension and drama and have you sit around for a week. And to have Sylvia have a good moment. I mean, I agree
Maybe
with you,
ours
but
is-
I can see
No,
why the
yeah.
Sonic doesn't work.
Yes, and I'm glad
It is just
that
kind of like, well, use something else to break it. Yes.
I am glad that was the solution, is just breaking the windshield.
The little geek out moment is when clone Martha is accessing the nuke codes or the system to get the information to the Sontarans, and then she enters in a password. I was like, is that Buffalo? If you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Was it?
No, I'm then thinking to me and like,
no?
is
What's that from?
That's from the with
War
Christopher Eccleston. He tells Mickey to type in Buffalo over
Every
and over
time he
again.
gets a password, just say Buffalo.
Because he was cracking into unit.
Yeah,
He was
yes,
cracking.
because he's cracking in.
So that's what made me think of that.
That's funny.
When Martha asks, okay, we need someone to protect her, I always thought it was clone Martha, but it was to protect the real Martha's body.
The
Because
unconscious Martha.
Right.
Because of
and I
the-
kept
yeah.
going, well, why isn't he going to clone Martha? When I first watched this. And like, I didn't get that her was a different her.
Because they needed the original for the clone to
Right.
keep being the mole.
The Doctor gives Donna a key to the Tardis and leaves her so he can tell Colonel Mace not to fight the Sontarans, since they are highly skilled at war. The Doctor and Martha then run to the Tardis and discover it is missing. The Sontarans beam the Tardis onto their ship with Donna inside. She overhears the Sontarans boasting that no one, not even Rattigan, knows their true plan. At the school, the students are worried about the smoke, but Rattigan assures them that they will be all right. They are the chosen ones, and will continue the human race on another planet. The students think he's crazy, and leave to be with their families.
Did anyone else think of Moonraker when this was going on?
Oh, yes,
The
very much
James
so.
Bond movie?
I
where,
did.
no.
You want to sing it?
So
No, just
much.
kidding.
No.
Catherine Tate, when she was working on this particular production, she had only interacted with the Sontarans with their helmets on, so she thought all of them were animatronic robots. And then when they took off their helmets, she got freaked out because she didn't know they were real people, like, because they're shorter in stature. Like the main guy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. She thought like that there weren't actors inside the
The costumes.
Yeah.
Because Dan Starkey, who plays Score, is 5'2".
What are you trying to say about people that are around that height?
I'm just saying what she experienced, and then
We ain't got no reason to live.
Oh, that's what it is. Because we're frightening, considerably
but you're not,
considerably smaller.
but you're not in armor.
That's true.
And the producers were like, "That's insane. This production would be like astronomical in budget."
I like how Martha overhears the conversation between Colonel Mace and the doctor and then runs in. Oh, yeah, the doctor told me to tell you this. So she covers herself saying
Right.
she did tell him in case they ever talk.
Yeah.
Then thinking the timeline, people aren't going to really convey when they heard something.
Because it's too chaotic.
Also, the doctor's not going to ask him when he went to Red Alert because
Right.
they're on Red Alert. He sees it.
I really like the camera moves in these 2 episodes, in this one and the first part of this the episode that came before this one. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but also in this scene, there's a lot of dollying, but there's like, I think it added to the emotion and it added to the scene. It was like, I don't know, I liked them.
I think it was a testament to Catherine Tate and David Tennant's acting when, right after the key gets handed off, the doctor has a line where he's like, "Oh, the smoke doesn't affect me as much," and Catherine Tate is like almost hacking up a lung. But then the doctor walks by these 2 soldiers at the turnpike, and both of them are just kind of standing there, like they didn't get the memo that they were supposed to be coughing.
Suffocating.
Yeah, but it just elevates Catherine and David Tennant's portrayal.
I like that they took a typical moment of, here's the key to the TARDIS, something awe-inspiring that everybody would want. And she's like, yeah, we can celebrate after we stop joking. You know?
Which kind of parallels the beginning of the season, too, when it's like, okay, you're going to go into the TARDIS. Yeah, I know all that.
Right. And again, the doctor uses his sense of taste when he tastes the transporter remnants, I guess is what it is. You know, so he goes, oh, it tastes weird. Did you taste that? But this time we don't have to watch him, actually lick anything.
I appreciate him not licking something.
I thought you would.
So I think the Rutans, have we seen them or will we see them? Or is that just from a classic? Or
Yes, it's from the one we did, the Time Warrior.
Okay.
They mentioned that the Sontarans are fighting with the Rutans.
Okay.
We see the Rutans in Horror of Fang Rock. Really? It's the only time we see them. But they're mentioned all the time with the Sontarans, but we see them in
I want
Horror
to
of
say
Fang
I've
Rock.
seen that, but I don't remember what they look like. Oh, well.
Jellyfish, they said.
And also, when the Colonel first sees the Sontarans, he's also put off by their appearance. He says they look like trolls. And it kind of bothered me too in the first part of this when the unit soldiers were just kind of like when they were joking around near the green gack tub, and also when they first saw the Sontarans, he was making fun of his stature and stuff. And as a elite military force that is dealing with extraterrestrial technology and stuff a lot, it seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect there from how like their responses are very human, but I wouldn't expect unit to be like run-of-the-mill people,
Like
that
foot soldier type of people.
I would expect them to be trained a little bit more to understand, like,
Yeah.
we're dealing with aliens, alien technology, and
And how I explain it is that this is a new form of unit, and it's not the old version. Because, I mean, I'm sure there's like a whole file that go, read up on these aliens, and then they just never got to the Centaur. It's like at the end of the
their
alphabet.
S, yeah.
At unit, Colonel Mace wants to order a nuclear strike against the Sontaran ship, but the Doctor takes control and contacts the enemy instead. He calls Stahl a coward for using poison gas because it is beneath the honor of Sontarans. He demands to know what Stahl is really doing. The Sontarans have been at war for 50,000 years, and they are losing. Stahl shows the captured Tardis, which the Doctor calls a noble prize. He sends a cryptic message to Donna to call him, but Donna doesn't know his number, 8675309?
No, that's Jenny's number from the next episode. I like how the Doctor says he earned the right to speak for the Earth a long time ago. Yeah, it's just kind of like, get out of my way.
And this is a point where the Colonel's really getting fed up with the Doctor.
And then here's where we get the rose split second of the transmission on the TARDIS view screen.
If you blink, you miss it, so don't
It's
blink.
quick.
Yeah, it's very quick.
Sorry.
Don't blink.
Don't blink.
Yeah, like that's one of those elements that I think are fun for a fan to go back and watch this episode again and be like, oh.
And it is the first time since the first episode where Donna tells her about the keys, and it's Rose. And so we all know Rose is there, and then she disappears.
Yeah, partners in crime.
And they haven't addressed it at all. And then here, she just pops in for a second trying to reach the doctor and then gone.
Oh, is this
Well,
our
it-
first
I
time?
was going to say
Isn't it?
Pompeii has the second one, but it's just a piece of dialogue. She is returning,
Right.
but that's it. And then another callback is to Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, where Colonel Mace says he's a good man, one of the best, and he's stranded in Peru, so he can't come out and help with the situation. Yeah.
Why is he stranded in Peru?
No, it's just the crisis was going on, and he was working down in Peru when it started. And so
He's
he's
Okay.
trapped.
working down there.
Oh, but we didn't see him in another episode where he was in Peru or something.
No.
No. I think
That was
the
going to be my question. Thank you.
Colonel Mace begins the countdown to the nuclear missiles, while the doctor tries to figure out what the real purpose of the gas is. Stahl is laughing at the petty display of power as missiles from different countries all over the planet don't launch. Clone Martha has been repeatedly sending a signal from her phone to delay it. The doctor knows the missiles would not harm the spaceship, so why stop the countdown? The Sontarans infiltrate the factory and begin slaughtering unit troops, killing Jenkins.
Oh, no.
It's this scene in the war room that I noticed.
The moves.
The moves, the camera moves on the dolly, and then because it goes around Colonel and
The
the
captain.
doctor like twice. Like it's the same move, not like back and forth, but like it has the same starting point. But I think it works, and I there's a lot of. They keep cutting to a bunch of different players in the war room and the screen, but I don't feel it doesn't disorient me. Like I feel like I still have a good sense of the war room, even though we keep cutting to different people in different places.
Another thing in this scene is that the blue lights are back, because you see them on the faces of the people, I guess, manning monitors and the situation. I just noticed that on like the captain, the female captain's face.
That man over there is playing Galaga.
Yes.
Does lighting and different lights indicate different things about moods and characters in shows?
It does, but it also depends on the filmmaker, because an example would be Breaking Bad, where they dress up Walter White in green for greed, for money.
Okay.
So there's like you can assign colors to certain motifs.
But ultimately it boils down to the tastes of the director.
And the DP, yeah.
Except if you put a yellow filter over everything, you're in Mexico.
Okay.
Which is
You notice
Soderbergh.
that?
I have noticed that.
Yeah. Wow. Stop it, people.
But going back to that vat room with the green and the purple, those are complementary colors, so that's why they use those two colors.
Okay.
When the students leave the academy and Rattigan has the gun on them, it's like, I thought he would pull the trigger. I mean, he's killed people already, but that was more remotely.
He can't do it himself.
Right. He didn't pull, yeah.
But the way he
The
was and how
Sontaran.
crazy he was afterwards, it seemed, I wouldn't trust him. I think he would. That's what came off to me.
Especially with the betrayal, like these students, I mean, he all of his emotional connection to humanity was through these students.
And he wanted them to live with him.
No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
Like,
He
if
wanted
you
to
want-
control them. They were just pieces in his plan.
Yeah, but he wanted them to live long enough so that they can go. He didn't want to kill them on
But
Earth.
also, I worked up breeding methods.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He wants them alive for his purpose, not for
Yeah.
like physical and
But
emotional
but
connection.
It's also a whim.
And also the way he's holding the gun, that's not the way to shoot somebody.
And that also, by the way, he is an American, so he has to have a gun.
It's pretty accurate.
So
If he didn't have the gun, he'd be Canadian.
right.
So when someone is put in the limelight at such a young age and is never told no, just think of the things that you did when you were a teenager. Now give you all the yes and all the money possible to do more.
Oh, it would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome, but you can see how some personalities can create monsters.
Oh, the planet would have killed me.
And so I think the way it was written was great to see what kind of teenager and what Kelsey said. Maybe the actor wasn't great at portraying that particularly, but it was more of a teenager throwing a tantrum, like when Justin Bieber decided that he didn't want to walk up to the Great Wall of China and had his bodyguards carry him. It's I can do whatever I want. Someone can carry me. Let's do it. I can rule the world. You know what? Let's do it.
I did like the characterization of Stahl and how excited he got when now we're getting down to some war and just laughing at humans, and the bravery of idiots is bravery nonetheless, and enjoying that. It's just, I thought he played it really well. I liked how that character turned around, and now we're getting to the fun part and just laughing at, oh sure, try those missiles. You guys are just fools, but enjoying it.
That kind of like Daleks, but in a different way. Because they also really like
The Daleks
war.
don't have, yeah, but they don't have the joy of it.
I agree with Frank that I think the Sontarans give us, like, it's not that they do like war for the sake of war, but he likes the art of war.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
even when his enemies are, stupid, like, he still commends them for their bravery, or it is a fun character. I do enjoy Stahl. He's a good character.
Yeah, it shows the culture of an alien race in like a simple way, and I like that.
And there's emotional range to the Sontarans in comparison to other villains.
I also like when the Sontarans were entering the base, the camera, the angle of them in the hallway, you could see that they were different sizes and different like types of people. I really like that because I don't know if the Jadoon episode, if they were just CG or if all like the armor was the same, but I remember them being more uniform, like size and shape, whereas the Sontarans, they were all kind of smaller, but you could tell that there was different heights between them, so it felt like that they were actually different individuals.
Okay, can you
Which
remind
was-
us what the Jadoon are
The
again?
rhinoceros police.
Okay,
Those
In
were
the
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 same ones, right?
Jadoon
Yeah.
platoon on the moon.
yeah, yes.
One's just small and one's big. Got it.
Well, ones are rhinos and ones are potatoes.
Rhinos and potatoes.
It has nothing to do with each other.
There's a song in there somewhere, Rhinos and Potatoes.
That's interesting, Auburn, that you would bring up that varying height shot, because I saw that and was like, wait a minute, aren't they clones?
I see them clones of like 6 different models.
Okay.
Because
Score and Stall are different.
yeah, score
Yeah.
and stall. Yeah.
I wonder how many they actually had, how many actors. Were there 4? Were there 6? But then when they put them all together, it really looked like a lot. We're down
Yeah.
the corridor.
Yeah.
I couldn't see where it was like repetitive. It just seemed, this is done really well. I was surprised going, are there 30 or did they just have 6 and they're just really doing it well on repeating them?
Yeah, I think the scene replication was done with more detail in this scene than, like, say, the Jadoon.
Okay.
Right.
Because I think the scene where the Doctor and or Rattigan are on the bridge of the ship, I think those are all practical people in costume, and I think that's the maximum of that they had, so there's like 6 or 8.
Okay.
A defeated Rattigan returns to the Sontaran ship and finds out that Stahl has lied to him the entire time. They were never going to take him or his students to another world. They just used him to implement the Atmos plan. Rattigan once again transports back to his school as Stahl orders the teleports closed.
And then crumples on the floor.
In the fetal position.
And that's why he wouldn't have shot anybody, because he is not strong enough.
I disagree. I thought he seemed so unhinged he would have shot. But poor Jenkins, we didn't really go over
Yeah.
him about
Yeah,
Ross was dead. And giving as much information as he could. So,
To help, yeah.
so that was really good for him. That doesn't work. It's that same
Cordyline signal.
and the doctors only can do something about that.
Ross and the condition unit soldiers were also killed in that sequence of the Sontarans invading the base. And
they just
Invading the factory.
waste them as they walk by.
Yeah, it wasn't as emotional as Ross, of course, but it was still like
Yeah.
you recognize
Cold,
them.
man,
Yeah,
cold.
cold-blooded.
Well, I think that at that point, it told me a lot about the Sontaran race. I'm like, okay, these guys are bad. And when the Doctor wipes them out, I'm not going to feel bad because they're not remorseful for, what they're doing. So
And if you're watching Luke Rattigan, like you said, the acting when he went over the top at that point, when the students left, the big eyes, was over the top. I'm sure that's the direction given. But from this moment on, he's in more of a background. And if you watch him while all the action's going on and forget about that and just watch him, I think he's doing a really good job because it shows he's broken. He got me going, okay, I underestimated this actor and what he can bring. Everything he ever had is now taken away, and he feels a fool, and that's something that he's never felt. So to be taken in by the Sontarans, never planning to do any of that, and just being used, I actually felt for Luke.
Yeah.
Panic is worldwide, and Donna calls her family. They are sealing themselves into their home. The Doctor calls Donna and tells her that she needs to leave the TARDIS and reopen the teleport link. She sees the Sontaran guard outside the TARDIS and knocks him out with a blow to his probic vent. The Doctor starts to guide her to the teleport, but is distracted when Colonel Mace enters the room, leaving Donna to hide from a squad of Sontaran soldiers. Colonel Mace escorts the Doctor and clone Martha outside to rendezvous with the remaining unit troops. They have new weapons and are preparing for war against the Sontarans. The Valiant, unit's flying fortress, arrives and uses its engines to clear the smoke from the area, powers up its weapons, and fires on the factory. Unit re-enters the factory, and Colonel Mace tracks down Score and kills him.
I like that Colonel Mace gets a win
Yeah.
I do too.
with the
Valiant.
What's that? The Valiant
From season 3.
Yeah, the Valiant shows up, and the Doctor is impressed. Doesn't admit it, but he is. And then I like that.
He was
This could
putting
have been
down the
a
Doctor the whole
redemption.
time, going, "No, I'm tired of listening to you. We're doing it my way." And he goes and gets. They must have the weapons for this, because they know that Sontarans use this kind of technology to stop the copper or inflate the copper. So they have the other weapons. He goes, "Now we know what we're up against, and now we can fight." And he's not listening to the Doctor at all. All up to this point, the Doctor's saying, "You cannot fight the Sontarans." And he does. And he wins. And it's like, you can fight the Sontarans.
There's also that great quick line that the Colonel has where, Sontarans see us as inferior. And he says, as well as every other passing alien with a grudge does.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And it cuts the Doctor.
that's a slap at the Doctor. So it's like, well said.
It's weird. The first time I saw this, I'm like, they're all out in the open and everybody has gas masks on. And then
Are you my mummy?
that's a great homage to Empty Child. But when Colonel Mace gives, it's time. He's taking control of the situation. He's like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do now, and he takes off his gas mask. I'm like, what are you doing?
I thought that too.
And then all of a sudden, the Valiant shows up, and I'm like, you knew what you were doing the whole time. This is great.
Yes.
But also, you can't give a speech like that. Wearing the gas. Yeah.
Oh, and also here we have the unit theme.
Yeah.
That was used in season 1 with Eccleston, and I like it here. It's very driving
Especially since you see a lot of cars driving by. Yeah.
on auto.
And I just want to point out again, that's the same thing as happened when Captain Jack showed up last season. In this season, you had David Tennant wearing the gas mask saying, "Are you my mummy?" David Tennant wasn't in that episode. That was Christopher Eccleston.
I forgot that.
Exactly. It's like, it's just the Doctor.
What other? There's a season 1 unit episode.
Yeah, when they go to 10 Downing Street, the Sladeen are invading with the pig alien, and then they call all the alien experts, and unit is in that building.
They get
Killed.
they all get killed.
I was just appreciative when they went back into the factory that there wasn't bodies everywhere. Because I think that would have been really painful to see, because as they left, everyone died. There was bodies everywhere. But they went and ran back in, there wasn't. So I was like, okay, that's nice.
And a lot of them had gas masks, so you couldn't associate a face with them. So I think that was more intelligent that they did that, so that we couldn't be like, oh, that's another Ross, that's another Colonel Mace.
Yeah. And then the 2 soldiers that had been processed,
Off screen.
they were shot off screen. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
ugh.
And
Which is why you almost miss it.
yeah, because if you do miss it, whatever. But if you're paying attention, you're like, oh.
It's quick. It's cold. It's
'Cause the
they don't
Sontaran
even
turns
break-
around.
They don't even break stride.
No.
They just turn and shoot.
Neither
Boom,
does
boom.
the camera track.
Yeah,
It just like
exactly.
keeps going.
Yeah.
Which is like just makes it great.
And more on that, like the Sontarans' gun, they have that LED red light to indicate that they're shooting. And I found some of the effects missing from the laser beam when they're just, you can see the extras firing, but then there's no laser beam that comes out, but you see the illuminated red barrel. I know there's a lot going on, but still.
Well, each laser blast cost £100.
How much is that in Sontaran credits?
I thought most of
100
the
pounds.
effects were really good, especially when the Valiant showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
How
yeah.
they cleared out the smoke and the shot of the Valiant further back with all the smoke going away.
Dissipating is the word
you.
you're looking for.
I just was impressed. They put a lot of money into these effects for this
I also
episode.
really like the shot when you're directly underneath the Valiant, looking straight up. It was like, wow, they had to build that completely new. There's also the continuation of something that's going to be more important later on about Donna. When the doctor's saying you need to go outside and you need to turn on the teleports. And she's like, what are you talking about? I can't even mend a fuse. And he just quickly, offhand, just says, oh, Donna, stop talking about yourself like that. Donna's being serious. And the doctor's like, stop. The doctor really isn't hearing exactly what Donna's saying at that point. We kind of find that out later. It becomes important later.
But Donna is still practical, because when she does go through, and she knocks out the Sontaran and makes her way, and the doctor says, oh, you're brilliant. She goes, get off it. It's like, you don't give me the false praise that Rose or anybody else would have liked.
I like that they show Donna scared.
Yes.
And like you guys were saying about the padding, I believe that the padding in that scene of, like, they took all that time to show her contemplating and then showing the mallet and then showing her walk over to the mallet and then walking back. I think that was very in character with what we needed to see Donna's confidence of, like, I don't know if I can do this. This is really dangerous, but I'm going to trust the doctor to guide me through this particular moment.
And it shows that particularly because when he gets off the phone, she's mad.
Yeah.
So I really like the way they show her in that scene. It's, she shows herself as this really confident woman that can do anything, but she's on an alien spaceship. Like, this is scary. And she's like, well, I guess I have to do it. And it's the whole, he knows that she's sarcastic, so he had to give her a sarcastic way to give her confidence is stop putting yourself down. Keep going.
The doctor and clone Martha go to the basement where the doctor finds real Martha. Clone Martha holds a gun to the doctor and says that she is the one stopping the launch. She asks when he suspected she wasn't Martha, and he replies that he knew from the start because she smells. He also wanted to stop the missiles, so he needed her to continue delaying the launch. Real Martha is unconscious and connected to the machine that is keeping the clone alive. The doctor breaks the connection, waking Martha as the clone falls to the floor. His phone rings. It's Donna, still waiting. He talks her through fixing the teleport as Martha goes to have a talk with herself.
In this scene with the doctor and
The
Martha's, he says you could have worn a t-shirt that says clone. Just don't wear it in front of Jack. I don't get that joke.
There's two Marthas. And I take that as Jack's
I get that.
sexuality.
Wouldn't
Twins.
Jack just love having
Oh, okay. So he's saying that.
That there's the fantasy of having relations with twins. Done
And
in
he
a
does
while,
like
or
Martha.
hasn't. Right.
He is
Yes, he
attracted to
does.
Martha. So, okay.
He's attracted to everything.
And the doctor knew
Sontarans?
way back when, and you could tell, when he was talking to Martha in the alley, and knowing, even before that probably, but knowing that at that point, he asked Martha, well, what about your family? She goes, well, what about them? Well, did you call them and tell them about that mess? Oh, right. And that was just confirmation for him, what he already knew, that something's going on. This isn't Martha, so keep her close.
Yeah, and there's also later on when she's looking at the reports, and he just walks up and grabs the reports out of her hand and looks at it because he knows he can't ask her. She won't give him accurate information. So it's like he knew all along.
Yeah, I like that because as a viewer, you're thinking that whole conversation with have you contacted your family, that was the tell. But then I like that it's revealed that no, he's known even before that, just based on like the way she smelled. Because it made me think that I was being clever by being like, oh, that's how the doctor found out. I'm like, oh no, the doctor is more clever than I am.
Also, the irises and the hair follicles on the right side of the temple, or
I think Freeman does a great job talking to herself in this scene.
Yeah.
And then they use Martha's theme in a different way again, in a more emotional way, playing in the background as they're both conversing.
And I loved how in the last episode, when Martha went from Soldier Martha to Dr. Martha, she switches her hair. She has the fighter's hair, and then she puts it back up in a little bit of a clip. And then that's how
We know.
we've seen her from now on, but that she switched her hair.
They did the hair and makeup.
Yeah,
It
and
was
there's like a
both.
whole different demeanor as well. So I didn't know about the makeup, sorry. But the hair I noticed right away, and I guess, it's less severe.
She's wearing less eyeliner
It
and
was
less
less
blush.
severe makeup. You're right. Now that I think
Just
about it.
just mascara, just cleaner face. She looked like brighter eyes.
And
Not
her
as
demeanor
severe.
also was more of a doctor in talking and getting the confidence of the patient. So I think Freeman did really well with that.
More on the soundtrack, I noticed that there was also battle horns at one point. I don't know if that's the Sontaran theme, but it sounded very much like tribal war cry type of music.
I don't remember it. I'll have to go back and listen.
If only there were a way to do that.
Martha asks the clone why the Sontarans are using the poison rather than attacking Earth. She tells them what's in the gas, and the doctor realizes they are trying to convert the world into a clone factory incubator to create billions of new soldiers. The doctor uses a teleport in the basement to transport Donna to his location and the TARDIS back to Earth. Martha is beside herself as her clone dies.
I see what you did there.
Then the doctor transports the three of them to Rattigan Academy.
The doctor transports Donna just in time.
Just in time, yeah.
They know where she is, they're firing, and boom, she's gone. Phew.
And then Donna, when she sees the clone, she's like, oh my God, there's two of them. And they're like, yeah, long story. That might pop up again, too.
Just as an observation, why is it that no alien race wants to take over Earth for anything else other than repopulating their people? Because it's making clones.
Pompeii.
Like Pompeii, yeah.
We have lots of lava. We have lots of fat.
Lots of people to make Daleks or Cybermen, or it's just like we're using Earth is used as a breeding ground. I'm like, why do they need so many soldiers? What are they trying to take over?
Because I think Russell always wants there to be some sympathetic reason why aliens do bad things. So to repopulate their species, you can kind of understand where they're coming from, rather than we're just coming here to kill you because we want to. But he does go to the same trope every time.
Yeah, instead of like, oh, your resources, we use gold for this, or salt water is used for, we want to take over your world because of this.
Gold is our soap.
And salt water,
it's not the Cybermen.
moves our ships.
Yeah.
Because our oceans take up most of our Earth. I don't know. Other than just repopulation.
Yeah. I think it's also just sci-fi in general. Rattigan pulls a gun on the doctor, but is quickly disarmed. The doctor combines the advanced projects from Rattigan's lab to form an atmospheric converter. Stahl did not want the missiles launched because the gas is highly flammable. The doctor brings the converter outside and launches it. It explodes in the sky, igniting the smoke. A wave of fire quickly burns across the planet, destroying the gas.
And why doesn't it destroy everything else along with it? The gas is everywhere. It's not just in the upper atmosphere.
Trees. I noticed that no trees caught on fire.
Nothing.
Or buildings.
Or people.
This
Or
is
Valiant.
definitely not rational.
I mean, the effect looks really cool. Could they at least singe their hair or maybe sweated from the heat a little bit? I mean, it
Or
just...
burn the leaves.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
the
I'm fine with it. I'm only
air
having
out
fun,
of the
but...
leaves.
Or think of it as cooking. When you have cognac in a pan and you just tilt it a little bit, it's like not the food gets cooked, but the alcohol gets burned
Alcohol
off.
gets burned off.
Yes. Okay, there you
the
go.
bad air, whatever chemicals were being burned
Okay.
off
You win.
of the good
I
air.
get
Yes,
that.
yes.
But there was clouds after that burned away. I'm like, couldn't even the humidity in the air be gone for a little bit?
I give them this one. I thought it was fine.
Some production behind the scenes on that when the doctor is putting together that device and he hits it with the mallet. He actually broke the prop. There's a crack. And then so they had to... The guy that was there was very good and he repaired it in a couple minutes.
Oh, that's good. I like how he mocked Luke when you were terraforming El Mundo Luco.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
One thing I thought seemed very out of place, even more so than the gas not burning anything, was the kiss between Colonel Mace,
Captain Price, I think.
Captain Price. It seemed like part of a storyline that they cut and edited out to have something going on between those two. I
don't even think it was that much. I think it was like, oh, wouldn't it be cute if the two of them are so excited they kissed? No.
I think they should have just cut that out.
It was a bit of a throwaway moment. It was like, oh, those two are a couple. That's
Well, I don't think they are because his
No?
reaction was like, what are you doing?
And they had all that time in the first episode to set up something if they really wanted to.
Right.
Oh, well.
Stahl decides that since they cannot have the planet for breeding, no one will. No, sorry. Stahl decides that since they cannot have the planet for breeding, it must be destroyed. The Doctor knows this and says goodbye to Martha and Donna. He transports to the ship and plans to use the converter to ignite their atmosphere, destroying their ship in a suicide mission. He has to be there because he must first give Stahl the choice to leave and live rather than fight. Stahl is not afraid to die and continues the countdown to the bombardment of Earth. Down on Earth, Rattigan activates the transport, simultaneously sending him to the ship and the Doctor back to Martha and Donna. Rattigan presses the detonator, blowing up the Sontaran ship.
That scene where the Doctor explains what he's doing when he leaves them. I like that Martha, I think it's Martha that says, "Can't you put it on a delay?" And he says, "No, I can't, because I have to give them the choice." Mm-hmm. And it's very much in character of who the Doctor is. And I also just love the reaction shots of Donna and Martha as he leaves, and they're like, he has to do it, but we don't want him to do it.
Yeah. I had a fun moment at that moment because I didn't have to wait for the Doctor to say it. I mean, I remember nothing really about this episode, but when Martha again asked that question, I said, no, he has to give them. I said they have to. I said a chance. He says a choice, but like if you know the Doctor, you know why he can't put it on a delay. It's like he has to go up there and give them a choice of.
Yeah.
It's not about the destruction. It's about saving, and both saving Earth and seeing if you can save the other side as well.
And then he even redeems Luke, saying, "Do something clever with your life now that you have it."
Which is just so, it's sad because Luke is so broken at this point. Mm-hmm. And so he goes over to the machine and fiddles with it so that the transportation can do it. So the transportation will go at the same time. And I thought that was done well, where the Doctor leaves and the device is falling from where the Doctor is holding it, and Luke pops up and is holding it right there. Martha asks Luke what he's doing, and as right before he leaves, he says something clever. Now I feel for Luke. I didn't want to feel for Luke. He was not the first one, and it's like, now just because he's so broken, and I don't think he has any idea what to do with his life. But then seeing who and what the Doctor is, he thinks that's the best solution. No, just that he doesn't see a future for himself. And it's like, this is the best thing I can do, something clever to save it.
Right. And it's also a way for him to exact revenge on the Sontaran for, taking him out of the plan, or they were going to kill him. Now he gets to kill them. Like, I'm okay dying at this point because they're also going to be dying.
It's his Centaur ha moment.
Yes, and then he throws that back at them.
And I like how they pause. They're like, "What?"
I just wish you had a few more.
Admiration. Yeah. I feel like you can see admiration on Stahl's face because they stop and he's like,
"Well done,
oh, you." Oh, okay, like, I misjudged again. I misjudged a human
because they don't see any problem in dying.
Yeah, especially Score.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'm just so sad that because was manipulated all along. He was manipulated by the Sontarans and by his intelligence, by all these things, and even the last words the Doctor said were to trigger his mind to start thinking, and it makes you wonder: is he a product of the environment that he was thrown into, or was he really genuinely just a bad person to begin with? And I don't think so. I think it was.
He was a slimy little weasel.
No, it's Arlene.
The product of his environment, and it's sad. Come on, if you're 12 and the alien race, contacts you and say, "Hey, let's do this," and you're like, "Yeah," and he's not just some psycho person.
He's not Adam.
No, that's what I was gonna say. He's not Adam, and that's why because this is a common thing in film where
Adam
the villain
didn't kill anybody,
but he was annoying. More so than
or
Luke.
get joy out of 58 people dying simultaneously.
Yeah,
52.
52 or one.
See, because I was thinking Adam earlier when we were talking about it, and I find them both annoying, but I do think Rattigan crossed a line.
I don't know how else to explain it other than I despise Adam, and I don't see any redemptive qualities in him, where with Luke I can see the redemption. And I don't.
I'm down with both of them.
And I don't know how else to articulate what I feel, other than I feel it.
It's the idea that you have empathy for Luke, and there's nothing that's redeeming in Adam that makes you feel empathetic towards him, because Luke was they did it to us in the film by having him redeem himself in the end. Because if he wouldn't have done that, then we'd have been like, ugh, why did he live? Villains are created usually. It was nice that he was given the opportunity to redeem himself.
To move on to the Sontaran ship, I like that it looks sort of like a claw octopus, like alien ship, but it also has the spheres that we saw in the Time Warrior, so we can see where those individual like landing craft. So you can see where this is a bigger ship, but it has slots for all the other individual sphere ships that the Time Warrior came down to Earth in. So I like how they incorporate a new envisioning of the Sontaran spacecraft, but also employ the classic version.
And when the ship blows up, I mean, you know, one of those little individual ships could have survived. It's possible.
With the skies clear, people are getting back to their usual lives, though without driving so much. Donna says goodbye to her family and joins Martha and the doctor in the Tardis. She asks Martha if she wants to join them, but Martha declines. She has too much to do here and now, but as she walks toward the door, the Tardis takes off to somewhere unknown.
Wanted to talk about it earlier. Was the jacket that Martha was wearing during those last scenes, was that the doctor's?
Yes, because they make a comment, I feel like I'm in my dad's coat or something. And Donna says it.
Donna says, if you're referring to him as your dad, you're over. That's right.
So yes, that is the doctor's coat.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that it fits her so big because her and the doctor are about the same size.
But, I mean, that is the coat. But yeah,
But she's cinching it at the waist a lot. So
Yeah.
So Freema's the same height as the Sontarans. I just looked up.
How tall is David Tennant?
5'11". So yeah, she's like super wrapped up in that coat.
Freema's 5'2"?
5'3". She's only an inch taller.
I guess she's usually in like
heels.
In
heeled
heel
boots. I
boots
think.
and-
Boots, the like 3-inch heels or something.
Wow.
So yeah, I was surprised that she was that short.
So it probably was the same.
Coat, and she's super wrapped up
Costume,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn about them not telling Sylvia, but it just seems wrong not to let her in on what's going on, not to tell her.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I say. I'm torn because, Wilf gets it. He knows what's going on and he understands the danger, but also the wonder of traveling.
Yeah.
It's like, go out there, tell me, and then come back and tell me. I mean, it was
His
such a nice
line,
plea.
I love his line though. Go and see the stars. Bring a bit back for your old Gramps. When he delivers that, I'm like just getting choked up.
And I feel okay having Sylvia not know because Wilf knows.
And Wilf can manage
Sylvia. Yeah.
Some casting notes. Christopher Ryan played General Stahl, and he was Kiv in parts 5 through 8 of Trial of a Time Lord. So it's another classic Who actor who is now on the new version. And then Captain Price is played by Bridget Hudson, and she played Ilsa Hupstein in the first Hellboy movie, if you remember that. And then we have Lachelle Carl back as Trinity Wells, the newscaster. And then Kirsty Wark plays herself as the other newscaster. She's a real-life British journalist and television presenter for BBC Two. And then Ryan Sampson plays Luke Rattigan. And a little story about him is that he hadn't watched Doctor Who before filming his episodes. He had some time off before they actually started filming, and then he was given some homework to watch some Doctor Who episodes. And when he came back, he felt the weight of what he was doing. And I think that's why I like his performance better, maybe, because he knows like how important Doctor Who is.
It's funny. It's when you were saying that, I was like, oh, I wonder if they showed him Van Statten's episode.
I have no idea what episodes they showed him, but
Yeah, but I'm
could
just
have
saying
been.
Van Statten's episode because Van Statten's the American dick. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. Didn't they wipe Van Statten's memory and leave him someplace with a name that
S.
with S? Was it L or was it R? It's like, did Van Statten become an R and is this Van Statten's son?
And then this marks the first appearance of the Sontarans in 23 years. Donna gets the key to the TARDIS, but the other thing that she has not received yet is an upgraded cell phone.
Yeah, Donna doesn't have a phone.
Well, she would still have the phone that was there, right?
That was Martha's phone.
Yeah.
But that was Martha's phone she left on the TARDIS. Martha still had
Another phone?
her Earth phone. Like that was the doctor's.
We'll stay tuned and find out.
Yeah.
But it's usually the companion gets their current phone that they already possess being upgraded.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to her mom, so
Just her grandfather.
yeah.
Oh, this is also the first episode to feature Billie Piper, Freema Agyeman, and Catherine Tate all together in one episode as Rose, Martha, and Donna. They previously appeared in the end of season 2, but Freema did not play Martha. She played her cousin.
Oh, yeah.
Addie.
Does The Poison Sky live up to the promise of the first episode?
I think so, yes. I enjoy it. Again, it's not something I think of going back and watching a lot, but I enjoy it.
I think the Poison Sky fits well with the Sontaran stratagem, and I think a lot of the two-parters that we've had on this new series do the similar breakdown where the first episode was a lot of story and setup, and I know that can feel slower, like especially after watching the two-parters together and then going back and watching the first episode again. It definitely felt slower because it is all kind of putting all the characters in place for the big action pieces in the second episode. But the big action pieces in this episode really worked, and I think really connected well with the first episode. So yes, it did live up to the Sontaran stratagem.
So I'm going to say yes because I didn't super like the first one. I don't know. It's just, I feel like this is a story that's been told over and over and over again. It's nothing new, nothing super exciting, but the characters are great, so I don't mind it. But it just feels like the end of season 1. It feels like when the doctor got his hand cut, like it just feels like these other episodes we've already seen. So yeah, it lives up to my expectation.
Yeah, I like the second part. I think, like I said, they don't wrap up the cliffhanger in a nice, pretty bow 5 minutes in, which I hate. But the threat of the first episode continues throughout the second episode and keeps the energy. And then we have nice redemption moments for characters that were set up in the first part, like Colonel Mace and Luke Rattigan. So I think that, yeah, these are two-part episodes that you can view back to back and have a good experience watching.
I also say yes, it did live up to it. I think it's balanced between the first episode and the second. Maybe not totally equally, because there is more setup in the first, which is natural. But I think it is pretty balanced throughout in one big story that's just broken into two parts, rather than some of the ones we've had. Seems like it takes a different turn in the second episode. This is one story that just went over 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree. This does complete the promise of the first episode. To touch on something that I guess I don't want to repeat something that somebody else has said, but I think what really anchors these two episodes for me is the emotional substance between Donna's family and like having Martha come back and how her time with the doctor has affected her both negatively and positively, and then how Martha can see that also. Just integrating the family is a new dynamic this way, and I like it.
I never thought about it that, we had Martha's family involved. And mostly it was, Rose and her relations are part of it. And now we have, Martha back. Mm-hmm. So they don't have Donna's family involved because either, they said Wilf would be too old to do the traveling. Sylvie doesn't know what's going on, so they need to bring someone in. We have Martha back, so that's going to have a whole different dynamic in somebody who's been traveling with the doctor already. So it's like, yay!
Yeah.
Martha and Donna.
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard our thoughts on The Poison Sky. How do you feel about Luke Rattigan's turn at the end of this episode? Is it redemptive enough or not? And why do you believe so? Leave comments on our Facebook page for this episode's post. And you can also email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com. That wraps up The Poison Sky. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time when the future becomes the present.
You've just listened to an episode of Who Knew?
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook at The Universe Explodes.
All our episodes are engineered by Allburn.
Find him at alburnbinkley.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/whoknewpodcast.
Visit our Facebook page.
Please leave comments, reviews, and click like to help support Who Knew Podcast.
Also listen to us on your Amazon Echo by enabling a podcast skill.
All our episodes are on whonewpodcast.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who.
The longest-running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell,
Sydney Newman,
Verity Lambert,
Ron Grainer,
and all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
your work continues to inspire and entertain.
And I think they've just brought Prima back because they loved her so much.
Or they liked working with her?
Yeah.
Like as the actress.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, she was on Torchwood around this time too. I mean, Martha really just kind of kept coming back.
No, that is how you keep getting rehired in the film industry, film and television industry. It's true. Like if you're nice, if you're fun and to work with, and you're easy to get along with.
Yeah.
They'll find ways to bring you back.
Yeah, and she was on Torchwood, and then she was going to be a regular on Torchwood, but then she got Law and Order London, which was a bear.
Dum dum.
she's also
Bigger
really
commitment.
pretty.
It was
Bigger
more
pretty.
episode. More
I thought you
episodes.
said bear,
Like
which is a
really,
bear.
really pretty. Just the beauty shots where she's talking to herself. I'm like, she's just so pretty.
And like Captain Jack would have a field day.
All right, I get the shirt joke. Okay.
Or is it?
Oh, don't start that again.
He started.
But also,
Did you say dickhead?
I said don't start that again.
He said don't start.
dickhead.
What I thought and what I said may have been two different things. Don't know. If only there's some way to go back and listen to it. I don't know.
That technology does not exist yet.
You big meanie.